Welcome to the YU podcast.
Why you have what you need inside of you.
I'm Brandon Yarbrough.
And I'm Jamila Yarbrough.
We are filmmakers, producers, entrepreneurs, husband and wife, parents, and owners of Yarbrough Studios and the Yet Network.
Together, we have shepherded countless projects to completion and are committed to helping others bring their visions to life.
Along this journey, we have had many ups and downs, but one of the greatest lessons we've learned is what we needed was inside of us all along.
Join us as we uncover why you have what you need inside of you.
Welcome to the YU podcast.
Why you have what you need inside of you.
I am Brandon Yarbrough.
And I'm Jamila Yarbrough.
Today, our topic is, that's my drum roll, getting started.
Yes.
Let's get started.
Right.
Let's talk about getting started and, really how to get started and what we've experienced in getting started, be it in anything, film, started in what God has placed on our hearts to do. How does one get started?
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes getting started is the hardest part.
Yeah.
We can have a dream or idea.
I'm sorry.
Is that loaded?
No. It reminded me of this episode right here. We were set up and it was hard to get started on this.
It was hard to get started.
There's a lot happening. It's hot in this room. All right. I digress.
Yes,
Continue.
You're right. But no, there can be a lot of reasons why it can be difficult to just get started. The fear of it, just like of the unknown, of not knowing, of entering into new territory, and not feeling confident that you're either ready or that you know what to do. And so getting started for many can be the hardest part. And so that's why we're talking about it today.
Yeah, and so one of the things that you're saying that I'm hearing is fear. Oftentimes is one of the big reasons why we don't start.
Right.
And what is fear? Fear. I wrote down two things. We always hear fear is the false evidence appearing real.
Right.
And then fear. Another acronym is face everything and rise.
Oh, deep.
Yeah, that's really cool. How do we overcome fear? What are some of the steps and keys that you've utilized and that we've utilized to overcome fear and getting started?
Yeah. Well, I think that what you just said, face everything and rise, is a good one because that's a big part of it is facing it. And oftentimes we face it, sometimes it's by seeking help. Sometimes it's by getting more information. Sometimes it's like this podcast is talking about recognizing the thing that you thought you needed was actually inside of you the whole time. And I've definitely experienced that working, not intending to be a producer, not intending to be a writer, but kind of falling into it and finding myself in territory that was completely new. That I trained to be an actress. I got a lot of training, a lot of education, a lot of training, a lot of experience, and then God said, "Hi, guess what?
Aha.
Guess what? Yes." And I think that, but what He was showing me were a couple things that He had been preparing me for. Work operating in these other gifts all along, and that He, once I started moving, as you even said, some people come to us,
Right?
We are a place where people can come to get help.
That's right.
And we're not someone. For us, it's more important that we help the creator or visionary, to help them get their vision out, but also empower them. That's important to us too. So we're not here just to collect a check.
Right.
We're here. We want to empower people.
Teach a man to fish.
Right. so that they can learn how to do that which they're called to do
Right.
as well. So, I think a part of facing fear is asking for help, is uh first of all facing that thing, whatever it
And
is,
acknowledging that you are
afraid.
afraid.
That's a big part.
Acknowledgement, first
Yeah.
acknowledging, man, I'm afraid, there's fear, and then that thing can't hold you anymore once you
Right.
acknowledge it. You bring it to the light, hey, this is how I'm feeling. And bring it to the light, and now it can't
Mhm.
hold you. Fear can't hold you anymore.
Yes, and I think that's because some people watching and listening may be at a place where, you know, they may have been afraid to move forward,
Mhm.
and what is necessary is the acknowledgement, and then they may have people that are accessible that they can reach out for help. Some people may not.
Yeah.
And I think if that's the case, um then you ask God to send to send the resources, send the help.
Mhm.
And then also you see what steps you can make on your own, because it's in that time oftentimes that he does send, you know, help, is when we are also making steps on our own. And sometimes that is making steps on our own projects, sometimes that's serving other people's visions as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Positioning yourself
Mhm.
where you can serve someone else's vision. And while you're doing that, you're also receiving. You're learning, you're growing, you're making new relationships.
Mhm.
And so I think that the key to a part of that key is not to be paralyzed by the fear,
Yeah.
and that happens a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Paralysis
Right.
when we're afraid,
Mhm.
you know. But to acknowledge it and to say, okay, God, how can I move forward now
Mhm.
that I've exposed this fear,
Right.
you know?
Right, and it'll show you the steps, the
Yeah.
steps to take in order to and to move forward. And
Yeah.
oftentimes, we look at. I think we're gonna have an episode about finishing. This is getting started. We'll get
Mhm.
to finishing, but in the starting, I think one of the things that um, can be we can be or fearful is or fearful of is just seeing, okay, you see the big picture but you don't necessarily know how to get there. You see the
Mhm.
the finished or the product at the end, but you don't know the steps to take to get there, but it's
Right.
just one taking one step at a time, building the house one brick at a time. The house isn't just laid down. They put up the foundation and then
Mhm.
put up the beams and the walls and then start to build the outside, and then from there, you have a house. So I've never built a house before. I built computers. One
One step at a
one
time.
step at a time. One step at a time, but it's key, not to yes, it's good to look at the end goal, but also
Mhm.
look at where you are now. And I know that, or in knowing that, I know that when I take this step or when I make this move today, it's getting me closer to my end goal. The
Absolutely.
small steps, consistency in those small steps
Absolutely.
will get you to the bigger goal or the end goal.
Absolutely. Yeah. And and part of the process though of getting to the other side, that's not to say it's not gonna be without obstacles
Yeah,
or resistance or challenges. And also sometimes you won't get it right.
right.
We learn so much from making mistakes.
Mhm.
It happens. You learn from your failures. And
Even more so than successes.
right. And I think that is to be okay with that.
Mhm.
To say, okay, I learned some great lessons from that last project, from
Mhm.
things that I didn't know,
Mhm. Mhm.
and that's okay. And
Mhm.
as well as sometimes you have challenges and setbacks and things that come up that can make you question, wait, am I doing what I need to be doing? Is this can make you question the vision, you know? And and I think at those times it's important to um push through. And we talk about more of that in the finishing.
Yeah.
Um
One of the things you just reminded me of is you just mentioned the vision,
mhm.
and having a vision and getting started on the vision. And another thing is to write it down.
Mhm.
Write the vision down, write whatever it is down. Um, that way you have something to go back to.
Right.
When things get a little cloudy after you start,
Right.
you can always come back to the
Right.
original vision and the goal at hand.
And so that's a huge part of getting started.
Yeah, writing, being clear on
Yeah.
the vision and why it is. We just had a conversation about the why.
It's huge.
Why are you doing this particular
Right.
thing for us? Why are you telling this story? And
No.
why? We just talked about what is the greater why. Not just for the story and why are you telling a story this time, but why. Um, what do you want to put out into this world? What's the greater messaging?
Yeah, knowing your why is huge.
Hmm.
For not only the intention behind what you're either have created or telling or whatever idea you have, but
Yeah,
also a bigger picture.
yeah,
Why am I doing
yeah,
this? You know? And you may not know all of that right away,
yeah,
but I think it always helps to fuel you in those times that can get challenging.
yeah,
And I think that can be another great key of getting started is not only painting the vision, but also understanding why is why is this important? Why now?
yeah,
Why is this thing needed now?
yeah. What's your why
For what?
just in general? Like, why do you do what you do?
I love telling stories.
Hmm.
But I do it because I know it's a medium that can um reach, teach, heal. It can be used as an instrument of God.
Hmm.
Honestly.
Hmm.
I do it. I don't do it for just entertainment's sake.
Hmm.
And I do it because I know that God's called me to do it. And that's a medium that he's using through me
Hmm.
to speak to his children.
Yeah,
And that's the true why. I didn't come to this industry with that
yeah.
reasoning. But now seeing how it can just be such a powerful tool, and I believe that God has called me to use it.
So your why can change as you grow
Absolutely.
and flow.
As you grow, absolutely. When I came to this industry, or I wanted to be an actress and I just loved entertaining.
Yeah.
Always loved entertaining. And I thought that, I did see at a very early age because I was teaching.
Hmm.
I started teaching youth in the arts from all over this country, honestly, all over for a long time, and saw how arts can be used as a tool to reach, to instill certain principles and values and help with discipline and all kind of things. um, and then used as a powerful outlet.
Hmm.
And so I do believe God was always called me to use it as a way to reach and help his children. But now he's I'm using it through the medium of writing,
Yeah.
majorly, and producing or helping other people get their visions and stories told.
Hmm.
And I think that's the main thing. Our why for our company, is our mission is to give hope
Yeah.
through the projects that we do. It's
Hmm.
it's very purposeful,
Hmm.
you know. Um, but your why can absolutely change.
Yeah.
And God is a huge part of my why.
Hmm.
I just want to do what he has called me to do,
Yeah.
you know?
No, that's really great, and understanding and knowing your why and knowing that the why can change,
Hmm.
as you grow and discover, new things and new whys and things to add on um to your why,
Yeah. So what's your why, sir?
See, I knew you were going to ask me that question. That's why I was like, I
You
was
try to ask all the questions. I
I
see.
I was thinking
See.
about it as you were answering and definitely wasn't listening.
Babe.
No, I think my why is just to create legacy for, our family, for our daughter and other children. Um, yeah, and to show, um, you know, like the stories that we decide to attach ourselves to and to tell really reflect our beliefs. A fam, stories about family, stories about love, real, real stories. But to reflect the world that they see, and not necessarily a world that is being fed to us by a lot of media. And so, yeah, my why is to really help change the narrative for our family, for our legacy, our children, and for others that may, enjoy it and tune in.
Hmm.
But I think that's still a part of the mission that God has given us.
Yeah.
It all ties back into that. But
And
yeah,
and I will say, and that's this is why we're doing what we're doing now, period. But even with each project though, the why can be
yeah,
more
yeah.
specific,
Mhm. Mhm.
like this project specifically is speaking to this,
Right.
or I believe that, for example, we've used First as an example so much, but with First,
Mhm.
it was the initial why was because I wasn't seeing those stories being told, and I just wanted to see a love story with someone that looked like me
Yeah.
with this layered with the layers.
Mhm.
And then the why grew as I recognized there were a lot of people like me that they needed to see these images
Right.
to know that they were deserving of
Right.
this. And so, you know, um, so with each project or each idea,
Mhm.
the why can be specific. It may meet a need,
Yeah.
like there's so much happening in our world where there's certain things that whether it be to help people day to day life or their day
Yeah.
to day lives,
Yeah. Yeah.
or whatever. It can meet a need, but
Yeah.
knowing your why is important.
Absolutely.
Okay, so if someone comes up to you and is like, "I'm ready to start now," what advice would you give them?
Go.
Where?
Go.
Uh,
Start. That's the advice.
yeah.
Go.
Could you elaborate?
Go. Take that first step, whatever it is. If it's reaching out for help, I guess a lot of the things that we're gonna say are you may hear them over and over again because these are the tools that we've used, um, and they work. Reaching out for help, asking questions, um, writing the vision, taking that thing, writing it down. Creating a plan or a calendar
Knowing your
or
why. Yeah.
knowing your why.
Yeah.
But just start one thing at a time, and it's not too big for you. And those voices that may be saying, you can't do it or you're not good enough, just cut that stuff out.
Mhm.
Cut it out. Push that stuff to the back and know that you are, everything that you have is the Why You podcast. Everything that you have is right inside of you.
Mhm.
You know, um
As Zuri's favorite song, our daughter's favorite song, "I Can Do All Things."
oh yeah.
I just heard that in my head, but you truly can do all things
Yeah.
through Christ who strengthens you.
Mhm.
But and the song is "I Can Do All Things."
Yeah.
Um, but it is, just choosing,
Mhm.
making the choice
Oh, that's yeah.
to go afraid, go uncertain, go you might even be insecure,
Yeah.
all those things, but go. Make the choice to go. And you can, even today we've shared some ways in which you can get started
Yeah.
and just continue to take a step at a time. And as we've said, oftentimes you may not know even as you're taking the step where the floor is exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
But trusting that as I make this step, God will meet me
Yeah, and it
at
doesn't
every
have to be
step.
perfect. Imperfect action is better than no
Absolutely.
action. It doesn't have to be perfect. Your perfection will be perfected as you continue and to step and to go and to learn. That's it, what is that rule? The 10,000 hours.
Mhm.
It takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something.
Mhm.
Or to perfect something. You know, just think about that. If you're starting something new, something that you haven't done before, understand that, okay, well, this is new. It's going to take me 10,000 hours to be uh, not you, not you, but,
Well,
so, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to take
yeah.
time in order for me to learn and for it to become second nature or a muscle that
Yeah.
is easily flexible. How long did it take you to ride a bike? I don't know about you, but
I get what you
when you're riding a bike.
Yes, I do. I get what you're saying. Um, as far as giving yourself grace to grow and to um giving yourself the time, allowing yourself the time to learn, and then also, but I also want people to know who maybe God may be calling them to an area where, because I had this experience. I had all the hours in one specific area, but God called me to another area that I felt like I was unqualified for, but He qualified me for it. You know what I'm saying? So I also know that there are times where you may feel unqualified for a particular area, and you but God may still be pushing you in that area. You may not have the 10,000 hours. But that doesn't mean don't go, you know. But what you're saying is allow yourself the time to grow in that particular area. And I think that's so key.
Hmm.
I really think that's very key.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of the tips and the tools that we've shared, are things that we've experienced and gone through in our
Mhm.
our journey, to get to where we are now. And I know that they're very helpful, and
Mhm.
I hope that they help you, whoever's watching and listening.
Yes.
um, but is there anything else you would like to share?
No, I'm just
As
excited for our listeners because I do, and everyone watching. I do believe that if you're here, then there may be something that God is pushing you to get started on.
hmm
And our hope is that you move forward, no matter what.
Yeah, send us a message, an email, if this resonates, and you got started, and it was a push for you to start that thing. Whatever it is, whatever it is. Somebody might want to start doing matchbox car racing.
Okay. Yeah,
Hang on and do it. I don't know why that just popped in
I
my
don't
in my
either,
mind,
but
but that's
hey,
so cool.
somebody might be out there.
But thank you. Thank you for sharing this topic with me and talking to me about getting started. And we'll discuss finishing.
Yes. Thank you for for joining all of us here today and just sharing so much of your wisdom, babe.
You're so amazing.
And we are grateful to be able to talk with you all who are listening
Hmm.
and watching, and we know that um we really know that you have what you need inside of you,
Yes.
and that's why it's your time, why
Yeah.
it's your season, why it's go time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is go time.
It is go
I am
time.
Brandon Yarbrough.
And I am Jamila Yarbrough. Just follow us at the Yet Network on our YouTube as well as Instagram, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Bye.